Bowman lied. Recently, rapper, entertainment entrepreneur, mogul Rick Ross decided he was going to go to Target and do some shopping with his new girlfriend, while videoing it for Instagram. Reverend Jamal Bryant, the pastor of New Birth Missionary Baptist Church down in Atlanta, who has led a successful boycott against Target because of its anti-blackness and because of its embracement of the new administration's policies against DEI. So Pastor Bryant had a lot to say about it. So as reported with Indisputable with Dr. Richey, let's check it out.
Jamal Bryant, who has led a successful economic withdrawal of Target because of their dismissal of black folks spending green dollars. Now, famous celebrity, influencer, the big homie Rick Ross is in Target as if this ain't happening. Jamal Bryant, not afraid of controversy, has something to say. Here it is.
Letting y'all know I need help. I've been kidnapped. I'm in Target.
Bryant dirty. Bryant dirty.
Yo, look at me. Yo, guys. Yo. Somebody save me. So what are we here for?
I'm looking for the kitchen appliances.
All right, guys, if you've been injured in a car accident, you have...
It's all fun and games when you're wealthy and they can buy you off.
Let's get into it. Put up the picture full mass. As you are well aware, Pastor Jamal Bryant has been on this program multiple times. We have discussed the economic withdrawal or boycott of Target. I was the moderator for a live event in Atlanta where he organized not only people, but also leaders of the movement, including our very own former Senator Nina Turner. According to Atlanta Black Star, Reverend Jamal Bryant is calling out celebrities and entertainers for still shopping at Target stores, currently facing the wrath of a nationwide boycott or withdrawal. A celebrity shopping trip turned into a teachable moment when he publicly called out rapper Rick Ross, rapper and business owner Rick Ross, for shopping at the very store, facing organized resistance from the black community. The rapper's innocent social media post featuring his new girlfriend sparked a conversation that extends far beyond retail aisles, touching on celebrity influence and collective economy or economic power within the black community or black America. The ill-timed adventure began with Rick Ross playfully climbing into a mobility car while his new girlfriend, Miss Kendrick, pushed him through the store, creating content that seemed purely for laughs initially, but demonstrated a troubling disconnect from ongoing activism. Jamal Bryant, Atlanta area pastor leading a high-profile boycott against Target, viewed the post as a missed opportunity for awareness and responded with educational intent. Bryant wrote on Instagram, and I quote, "Hey family, at Rich Forever, you are an incredibly influential figure for the culture who many aspire to emulate. To that end, I thought it important to share with you that the community has been boycotting Target because of their disregard for our value and a disrespect for the dollars we spend. As a businessman, you are acutely and intimately aware of community relationships with the consumer. All that we are asking for is rolled out at targetfast.org. Don't let them divide us. When we as a whole understand our economic strength and the power of unity, 63 years after the March on Washington, every day we shouldn't be hustling. Respectfully, be the boss, not the pawn. End quote. Ross, who has been super critical of Trump in the past, performed at Trump's crypto ball. That was January 2025, where he appeared alongside Snoop, Nelly, and Soulja Boy. At least Soulja Boy told the truth. It was about the bag. This was during the inauguration weekend. We covered that extensively on Indisputable. That appearance had already created tension with fans concerned about the administration's policies affecting the minority community. Let me give you a reminder of the boycott. So the boycott campaign emerged after the retailer decided to scale back diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives following Trump's return to office. The movement demands that Target invest $2 billion in Black communities, deposit $250 million in Black-owned banks that creates an ecosystem of economy in locally affixed Black communities, establish partnerships with 6 historically Black colleges, universities, restructure its approach to diversity programs, and the campaign coincides with Target experiencing decline in store traffic sales since January, despite reporting over $25 billion in second quarter sales. The CEO has resigned, but it's kind of like musical chairs. They just kind of moved him around and moved another company guy, a front man, in the front position. So your COO becomes CEO, and then you move your other guy around so that he's not the face of the brand anymore, but still very much so likely in charge, or at least at the table. And as I said before, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So this
Getting a lot of pulling in my ankles.
is an attempt to make sure that Black folk in the community are respected because they are paying green dollars. I will give Rick Ross the benefit of the doubt, as I think Pastor Jamal Bryant has done, to say to Ross, we don't think what you're doing is intentional. But it is a disconnect if you don't know, if you're not aware of the massive and very successful economic withdrawal that's taken place as it relates to Target. Target not only decided to get rid of their diversity, equity, and inclusion program, they weren't under any mandate to do so. They made promises to the Black community. They made promises to the George Floyd family. They made promises to Black nonprofit organizations, and they decided to revoke those promises when Trump got into office. Because according to them, well, Trump was making it difficult. Trump made nothing difficult. He simply said an illegal thing while being president of the United States. They are not under any law to get rid of these diversity programs. And according to the narrative from activists, they gave Target a blank slate to redefine the terminology, diversity, equity, and inclusion in the way they thought best, but to maintain the substance of the spirit of what it meant was important to them. Target decided to ignore that. The CEO of Target attempted to meet and buy off every other Black leader that would hold an audience with them, instead of meeting with the 4 or 5 people who are squarely leading the protest. They'd rather lose.
And this is where I'm coming out for a few moments. Target paid a bunch of greedy Black preachers $300,000. Now listen, it's a company making over $50 billion a year. They gave a bunch of greedy Black preachers $300,000, I think it's in the National Baptist Convention, to spread among themselves. And the greedy preachers took the money. It's sad and pathetic that we as a people can't come together to do what needs to be done. Any other community, I won't name them, but there's one group of people I'm thinking about. If they call a boycott and you go against them, they will defame you to no end. And Rick Ross knew darn well what he was doing. He's not stupid. He didn't get to where he is by being an idiot. And most likely he was probably given a fat check from Target. That's why he probably ended up in the store. These celebrities don't do anything for nothing unless they're down with the cause of us as a people. But the majority of them, as long as there's a paycheck attached to it, they'll show up and then try to justify it.
Billions of dollars over a short amount of time that contribute money directly to the same consumer base that oppose their bottom line. To the board of directors, to the individuals who are in charge of making sure the bottom line remains the bottom line. If you keep picking feckless leaders to lead Target and ignore the consumerism of Black people, you will find yourself not only in this position, but in a position much worse. Why? Because Black folks have white friends. It ain't just white folks that got some Black friends. Okay? Black folks got white friends too. We call them allies. And those allies are getting hip to your game. And those allies are standing in unison against this kind of misuse of the public trust. So here we are. All right, we'll see how Rick Ross responds. I'm glad Pastor Jamal Bryant set the tone for this conversation. I think he did an appropriate job. We will have Pastor Jamal Bryant on the program later this week. Jackson, thoughts, dear brother?
A question we get all the time is, how do you do?
And I'm going to leave it right there. Tyrone Bowman Live. Never surrender, never quit.